Well, hello, my friend. My name is Joe Bakhmutsky. I'm the founder of Power to Be Happy and also the author of this book, Finding Hope in Times of Uncertainty, a guide to thriving in the challenging world of today. And listen, the world around us is just crazy, isn't it? There's just so much negativity. There's so many just negative vibes that you get from people, that you get from all sorts of influence. Just it's all coming at you. And the trouble is we just can't help but take some of it on. And it reflects in how we are with people around us, what we do in our work, how we're trying to make an impact. So it makes this, really incredible difference on our lives. And I believe it's not a good influence because we want to be in a place where we're able to at least put some of that aside and really shield yourself from that negative influence so that you are in a place where you can be so much more present, so much more in the moment, where you have clarity around what is going on in your life right now, what's important to you and your way of life, where you want to get to, and ultimately just how to get there. That's what's going to be key. So we have to shield ourselves from the negative influence before it really gets to you and really ruins your day, throws you out of whack. And I believe that we can do that. But before we get into how we can specifically block negative influence from your life in a way that is meaningful but also realistic, right? It's also important to define what negative really is. And what I mean by negative is it's unhelpful. Right? We have this myth, I guess, in our culture that we're all supposed to be, just floating around in the clouds and we have to be, positive all the time. Well, I'll tell you this, we can't always be positive, but we can be hopeful. And we can look towards things that are going to be helping you in your day, towards things and in situations and interactions with people that are going to make you feel good about yourself, about the world around you. They're going to help you to make a greater impact in the world. They're going to help you to be the person that you want to be a better father, to be a better friend, to be a better partner, to be a better person who's out there in the world, who's working with people, who's interacting with people, who, wants to do good. Right? And that's hard to do when there's this negative influence, because all of these feelings that they stir up inside us, like anger, frustration, and hate, all of those things, they are doing you damage. These feelings are destructive, and not only that, they kind of perpetuate each other. They perpetuate what becomes a cycle of negativity. That's sometimes can be hard to break. I don't know if you're like that, but I've been certainly in situations in my life where it's, I've started to end up in a really negative place where I was feeling so down on myself. I was just negative about everything, and it made it very hard to transition and be in a good place and feel good about yourself. And I don't know whether that speaks to you and where you're at in your life right now, but I want to let you know this. I want you to know this, my friend, and I want you to feel it deep on the inside, that you are the gatekeeper of your life. You control what comes into your life, right? These negative influences, negative situations, negative interactions, it doesn't mean that they're evil, but we have the power to stop them from coming in and ruining your day. You, my friend, are the gatekeeper. So what I always talk about to my clients when we work together one-on-one or in groups, When we talk about negative influence, which I believe is something that must be stopped to the greatest extent possible, is doing what I call an internal audit, which is when you look at your day ahead of you, when you look at things that you are doing in your life at regular basis. You can think of it in any way that you want. It might be helpful to you to think of what you're doing today, right? And do an internal audit of situations and interactions that you have with people that might be negative in the frame of it being unhelpful, as it's making you feel upset, as it's dragging you down in terms of being more present and more giving with people around you. What are some of the situations that are like that in your life? I want you to think about that, because when you can identify what that is for you, whether it's situations, whether it's something that comes from some sort of influence in terms of media, whether it's interactions with some of the people that you have around us, it's crucial to identify what those triggers are, what sets you off, because that becomes a situation where you can do something about it. When you can notice, and I think it's incredibly powerful, to notice those specific things that made you feel upset, that made you feel angry, that make you feel distracted, that make you feel frustrated. What has that been for you? Because when you can identify those moments, then you can change how you are around those situations, around those interactions. Because it's absolutely true that we can't change people, for example, but we can certainly change the way that we are around them, the way that we interact. Even if those people are your friends, or they're your workmates, or they're your family, right? You're not going to be able to change them. And by no means, by the way, am I suggesting that you should be able to throw them out of your life. That's not real, that's not healthy, and that's just wrong, right? But sometimes, for whatever reasons, we can, these things might be, or these people and our interactions with them might be affecting you and making you feel in a way that is not serving you right now. And that's why it's important to think about, well, if those interactions are presenting themselves to be unhelpful, well, what could you do to kind of change them around a little bit? If you were to look at it at a different perspective, at the way that you perhaps interact with this person, whether that's at work, whether that's in your home, whether that's someone, whether that's a friend, how do you interact with them in the sense that it's been unhelpful, and how could you turn that around to make a change in that area? What could you try and do? What's the one thing you could do to try and change that around? Because when you can turn it around, even if you're not going to make it perfect, even if you can get 10, 20% progress in just this one interaction with one person, it's going to make you feel so much better. I promise you. And when you can start to make these small changes in life, one by one by one, it's not gonna, don't do it all at the same time, but if you make incremental changes, if you go and do these internal audits, like what throws you off, what makes you upset, what is unhelpful, what is negative, right? When you start to notice and pay attention, and you find to make little tweaks and how you're interacting with people, that's what's gonna make all the difference in the world, my friend. And listen, it's never be perfect, right? It's never going to be perfect. So please don't try to put this pressure on yourself to be perfect, because that creates all sorts of pressure, right? You're never going to be in a position where there's going to be zero negativity and life is just going to be perfect and just going to fall magically into place, and you're going to stroll around with just a massive smile on your face all the time. That's not real. And it's also impossible to change other people. We talked about that. But what is impossible is to notice things that are throwing you off and to make small changes in a way to kind of divert that and blunt that impact on your life and make it that little bit more helpful, because that, my friend, can make all the difference in the world and help you to feel more present, help you to feel more engaged, help you to feel good about yourself, about the world around you. And that's what it's all about. But you gotta be realistic about it. You gotta be realistic in how it works. Let me give you an example. You know, at the moment there is a lot of, there's the war in Ukraine, and that's where we're from. My wife and I are from there. We have family, we have friends. It's an incredibly upsetting situation. On a deep personal level, it's profoundly upsetting, and it really pulls us down because it's really negative. And we can't just say, well, we're not gonna watch the news, we're not gonna talk to our family, because that's not real, right? That can happen. But what we can do is find some kind of boundaries to change the way that we learn about it and deal with it in a way that allows us to maintain our own way of life. That's why we, for example, have this rule, right? That we don't read the news before lunchtime, right? And that allows us to have half of the day where we can just do our own things, where, do work or do family stuff, do whatever we need to do without jumping into that negative space where you're worrying and you're freaking out, and it's incredibly, overpowering. And that's made a huge difference to our lives. And sometimes it's not perfect. Sometimes somebody calls me, or I get an email, or I end up seeing something somewhere online, and it kind of throws me off. But at least I try to stick to it. At least I try to stick to this rule. And it's not perfect. I can't say that the situation in Ukraine doesn't bother me anymore. That's not the case. That's never been the intent. But it makes me feel better because I get some of my life back and some of the semblance of goodwill and good nature about how I do go about in my daily stuff, but not actively being engaged with this, at least my first part of the day. So I hope it helps you, my friend. I hope it serves you, and I believe that you can take control of negativity in your life, I think that's going to make an enormous difference to your way of life each day, how you are with other people, how you feel about yourself, and how you ultimately move forward. If you want to go deeper, I have a brand new course called Block Out Negative. It's a part of my coaching package. So my coaching clients get that for free, and it's really implementation training on how to, first of all, have a mindset to what is the mindset that you need to block out negative things from your life, and also specifically how to fill in a plan to stop negative interactions and situations from ruining your life. So you can get that by either becoming my coaching client, and you can find out more about my program, Clarity First, on powertobehappy.com, or you can email me for early access. Again, if you want to get in touch, head over to powertobehappy.com. My name is Joe Bakhmutsky. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. And I want to remind you that you and you alone have this power to be happy, to see greater clarity in everything that you do in life, to show up at your best every single day so that you can prove to yourself that you're enough, and to hold on to hope that no matter how crazy this life gets, that things can and do change for the better. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time.